gonna change the world, change the world, change the world, yeah.
Welcome to Celebrate Transformation. My name is Sally Colon-Petree, and as you can see, my host is not here. Tim Storey is traveling today, just changing the world everywhere he goes. But I'm so excited because we do have a guest host. He has an Ivy League education. He has a positive psychology expert. He's a celebrity happiness coach. He's a published author, speaker, TV host, and producer. My gosh, I have a lot of titles, but holy wow. Rob Mack. Welcome, Rob Mack. Where are you? There you are.
Right here, Sally.
Look, my dog is actually joining us today too.
I love it. I love it.
Hi, Rob.
How are you?
I'm so sorry. I think I totally botched up your intro.
Listen, you can't get it wrong.
I don't think you keep up, huh?
You're always perfect, always beautiful, and always brilliant. I'm so happy just to be a part of the show.
Yay! So just so everybody knows, like with all of those titles, you can imagine this man is busy, busy, busy. Okay. I thought I was busy. I thought Tim was busy, but then there's Rob. Rob is a whole nother level. So I said, Rob, can you please come co-host with me? And he said, yes. I was just so like beside myself. So you actually brought in some of your really good friends.
Yeah.
And so today we have, oh my gosh, Elle Russ. She is a best-selling author, seasoned health and mindset coach, and she's the host of she has two podcasts, not just one, but two, and she has two best-selling books. So please help us welcome Elle Russ.
Yeah.
So happy to be here, guys. This will be fun.
Happy to have you.
This is going to be so fun. So I was reading through your bio, obviously, and watching some of your videos and podcasts. And I thought today would be super fun because you're a health and fitness coach, is to talk about how during this time with COVID and the pandemic and a lot of people being stuck at home, how people can reclaim their health and their fitness. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, I live in California and so does Rob. And so winter is not really upon us like it is everywhere else, where you're really trapped inside, right? And the inability to go outside in places where things are closed. You know, wintertime was the time for concerts and fun things to go out and be indoors and be with each other. So now we're stuck inside, but I have good news for everybody. The truth is that 80-90% of your body composition is what you put in your mouth. You never have to go to a gym. You can sit on your couch and get what we call fat adapted. Now, what most people don't know in this country, and I won't get through the weeds on it, but most people with food addictions out there are sugar, glucose, carbohydrate dependent. This is something that's really tough because when a lot of people want to get a handle of their health, they feel like they have to change everything at once. Like, oh, I'm going to, lose that friend, go to the gym, join a boot camp. It's very, it's almost too ambitious. And right. I would say, hey, you really only need about 21 days to 30 days of willpower with mouth to the end. What you put in your mouth, that's all you need to really nip a food addiction. I would look at things like Paleo Primal Health. You can go to Mark's Daily Apple or primalblueprint.com. I'm a fan of ancestral Bible diet type of, living back in the day before agriculture revolution came around. So you can eliminate some offensive foods. You can find those. I don't know if you want me to go through those online, but one of
no, go through some of them.
Okay, I need to get rid of the industrial seed oils, so people are using fats. Fats are great. I eat fat all the time. But go for the coconut, the avocado, the real butter. Get rid of the margarine, get rid of that stuff. Those are industrial seed oils. That actually is very detrimental to your health. That's just one thing you can do. And that's not even changing necessarily the food you eat. It's the fat you're using on that food. The other thing everyone can do right now, and it took about 9 months, but finally some people in the know were publishing articles on it, but we've known it forever, which is vitamin D. Every single COVID patient that has been in the hospital has disastrously low vitamin D levels. And so vitamin D is really a hormone essentially, but it's really important. It's an immunomodulator. It's not an immune booster. People have that wrong, but most people are really deficient. So for example, on a general blood test of a scale of like 30 to 100, you should be at 70 to 100. I'm in the sun in California every day. I take 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every day. And so should most people, especially during the winter. I'm in California, it gets sun, I still do it. It's because it's very, very protective. So if there's one thing you can do, it's one of the cheapest vitamins you can buy is vitamin D3. Now you can get it through sun and sardines and some other ways, but so I take between 5 and 7 a day. If I were going to get on a plane, which I'm not, but let's say I were getting on a plane to go somewhere, somewhere, I would take higher doses for the first couple of days. In fact, if you ever feel like you're getting sick, jam yourself with some vitamin D. It can really
Vitamin D. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Elle, let me ask you this. So, someone's sitting, because we have a lot of people that watch the show, and they're sitting there and they're like, okay, I get it. Like I'll start. And then like 5 days later, I just go back to what I know. That's me. And I think that's a lot of people that are watching right now. How do we stick to it?
Well, you know what? I would defer to Rob on this too, because this is really a part of my mindset. Why? Why do you want it? Do you want a better body because you're feeling sick? Do you want a better body because you're trying to impress someone? That's probably not the right way to go, right? So why? What's your why? Why do you want it? And then also, what's your bottom? You're going to hit bottom somewhere. Only you are going to do this for you. Nobody's going to force feed you. Now, if you're a parent, you got some control and you can take it and help your children. But if you're not, and you're an adult, this is up to you. So I think people lose motivation because they do too many things at once. So I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to join a gym. Or they think they have to work extra hard. It doesn't actually take a lot of struggle and sacrifice, but it does mean eliminating some foods, not necessarily good ones. I mean, all the stuff I eat is really tasty. The other thing too, on the health note, is people misinterpret cholesterol labs, the LDL, and I won't get into it too deeply, but I have a higher LDL because I eat fat. I eat a good amount of fat off of grass-fed animals and also other good fats. It's very protective. So if you're a low-fat eater right now, that might be something you should consider turning around and getting some healthy fats into your body and upgrading that LDL. It's very protective. In fact, I have never gotten the flu shot. I haven't gotten the flu since I was a child, and I haven't gotten anything serious, maybe a little cold here and there or something, but really minor. And I believe it's probably because I have higher LDL. So again, all of these things, our bodies are really smart, and it's better than any machine anyone could design. And
so maybe we defer a little bit to Rob.
Mindset.
Because I think a lot of it has to do with happiness, right?
Yeah, this is amazing. I just love everything you said there, Elle. And I have to say, you're like a living, walking, talking encyclopedia, which I know I just dated myself, but it's amazing. You're like a living, walking, talking Google, and it's just incredible. And I will say, the only thing that you left out was one very important thing, which is the motivation piece, which is all about the last dance for you. Because if you don't know, Elle is a big sports fan as well.
Oh, really? What's
Rob's dropping Michael Jordan on us right now.
Yes. I love me some Michael Jordan. Come on.
So I guess part of the question and thing I've been wondering about is, have you always been this way, Elle? You've always been like deeply educated, and you've always been self-motivated around like nutrition and health and wellness, or?
Not at all. And I'll tell you this, listen, it's micro commitments. Now, there's been times in my life where I've been completely sedentary, absolute disaster. And I get it. And I know what that's like. And I know how hard it is when here's the crazy thing. In order to get energy, you actually need to go do something. Do you know what I mean? You really need to move your body. The less active you are, the more sedentary and whatever. Not always. And even to this day, there are times when I am yelling at myself on the way to the pool. I'm in my bikini. I'm cold. I'm like, why? No. I mean, but I do it anyway. Because I know how I'm going to feel afterwards. So there are, commitments, motivation. And a lot of this is mindset. It's self-love. And also too, in talking about Jesus or God or anything regarding faith, this is what you're given. Treat it the best you can. We're all doing our best out here. Everyone's got a vice or two. I'm not saying lose all of them. Let's see what we can do. That's all. Do your best.
Right.
Usually it starts with food. It's the easiest way to go, really.
Yeah.
It's such a good point, don't you think? And I think part of it too, which I kind of hear you saying as well, is like, you can also try to enjoy the process itself, right? It doesn't have to all be painful. Like part of, I think, self-love is just enjoying yourself more. And part of health and nutrition is trying to find a program or a plan that's somewhat enjoyable. So for me, that means, adding a little music or doing it with friends if you can in a social distance and COVID safe way. But I do think it's something that we should try at least to enjoy.
Yeah. So
I think the other thing too is interesting is when people start a journey, some of the pitfalls and mistakes are, don't share that with everyone, because it's like alcoholics. When you stop drinking, they don't want you to stop drinking either. And so your friend base and how that is with food, keep it to yourself. You don't need to lecture everybody about all these newfound wonderful health things you found. We've all learned that in the health industry or any other industry. Rob could tell you this too. Sometimes trying to preach or help somebody with positivity can get a negative reaction if people aren't ready for it. So you do you. When you get there, if people ask, Great. Share it with them then. Don't try to proselytize to everybody that you found the newest thing. Right. So that's another thing. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and this, because I've always heard this, but I don't know if it's scientific but a lot of people say you crave what you eat. So like I'm addicted to sugar, okay? Specifically dessert. Listen, Ben and Jerry's strawberry cheesecake ice cream, forget about it. I'm happy, okay? It's in my freezer right now, for real. I bought it yesterday. So am I craving it because I'm constantly eating it? Do you think if I stop eating it and maybe move to like a sherbet or like something that's a little bit healthier ice cream or homemade, I've made homemade ice cream. Do you think is that right?
Well, here's what I would say first. If it's not impeding your life in any way, enjoy it. Enjoy that pint. If that pint isn't screwing you up, making you feel bad about yourself, having horrible symptoms, then enjoy the pint. Like enjoy your ice cream until it starts to hurt you, maybe, and then you can rethink it. But if you do want to get off that train because you feel like you're a sugar addict, the best way to do it is, first of all, you do have. What I say to people is, start with things that are like not junky, but still will give you like maybe fruit and whipped cream, heavy whipped, like real heavy whipped cream, and do that every day for a couple of weeks until then you cut yourself off. And then a couple of weeks later, just a couple of blueberries are going to be so sweet to you that strawberry cheesecake would make you want to vomit, basically.
You know what? That makes sense. You know why? Because I used to drink soda. Like we call it soda. I'm from Chicago. I drank soda.
You called it pop. How did you call it soda? Or is that in the suburbs?
Are you from Chicago?
I'm from downtown Chicago, but we always call it pop.
I'm from Bucktown. Get out.
Oh, okay.
I love Bucktown. So we call it soda or pop as well. Oh God, what was it? Oh, so now I stopped drinking that and started drinking soda water.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now soda is way too sweet. So I love that. You're right. Totally.
And that's a good point too, right? And what do you think about that, Elle? Like, I think one of the things that's worked for me, like over time, has been adding something healthy instead of just removing something unhealthy. Like that's been easier for me. So I say, before I dive into the ice cream and the chocolate chip cookies or whatever, I'm going to have the protein shake. And then I find that after I have the protein shake, I don't really want the ice cream and chocolate chip cookies, at least not as much or as, frequently.
Yeah, that's a great hack, because what you just put in your body, it also could be literally, you're hungry, you're craving something. Oh my gosh, but there's 3 hours to dinner, but I want that donut. That's the time for take a swig of olive oil. No, I'm not joking. Just take a swig of olive oil.
Say that again.
Or a little bit of coconut oil or something. It'll satiate your brain. Your body loves it, and it's just a little bit of fat. That's a quick little hack. But I agree with you. Adding stuff's way better. And also, this is not about shoving every vegetable you can possibly find of the rainbow in every meal. I think people also overeat vegetables and fruit thinking they're so healthy. I like to look at it like, what's your week look like? Maybe on Monday I have collard greens. Maybe on Tuesday I have cabbage. Maybe whatever. You can have one vegetable a day. Relax. You don't need to cram 500.
Okay. I want to go back.
Don't do it. Yeah.
You are a plethora of information. You just said, but I want to go back. Because you said when you start to get hungry to have a tablespoon of either olive oil or a coconut oil.
Teaspoon, but yeah.
Teaspoon. Okay, teaspoon. And so, but there's different types of olive oil, right? And different types of, coconut oil, that's pretty much one. But like,
you want to get the pure stuff. Some olive oil is cut with other oils, so you have to make sure that it's actually pure olive oil. But olive oil, coconut oil, it could be a little bit of ghee. It could be a little piece of butter.
A little vodka. A little vodka. You never know.
Put some butter in some vodka and make a smoothie. Yeah. The fat is going to satiate you. But when fat is so satiating, it hits your brain right away if you give it 20 minutes, or a protein shake, because you probably had some protein in there, Robin, and that kind of made you feel better. And you're like, I don't want it now. I think also, too, we're often really thirsty when we're hungry. We do it out of boredom. And again, these are the mindset stuff, because we know when we reach for things, people know what healthy foods are, but there's also people that are very adverse to meat because they think that's unhealthy. And I'm here to tell you, I eat meat and the fat off of meat all the time. There is nothing unhealthy about it. It's unhealthy, though, if you're eating meat and then you're also eating a ton of junk and carbs and sugar. Yes. And that fat's not going to get processed right. But who doesn't love a good bacon burger? That's paleo. You know what I mean? I'd rather have that than something else I know is only going to, it's going to make me drop my brain in a few hours. So sugar will really affect your brain, your mood, your neurochemistry. And talking about happiness, it's going to really limit you from happiness. I mean, I would try it. Try getting off that train and see what happens. But I like to wean off. I'm not a fan of cold turkey and stuff sometimes.
So I got a real quick question, okay? So I'm pretty disciplined about what I eat. I'm definitely going to have to read every book and every podcast episode you've put out, right? And I have a cheat day. Like The Rock,
Great.
cheat day. No Sunday is an epic cheat day. It's not like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's cheat day, but it's like, pizza and donuts and like how much stuff can I get? Now, is that a bad thing? Should I not be doing the cheat day?
I don't think so, because for you go right back to the discipline.
Yeah.
If the cheat day keeps spiraling you back into old behaviors, and also I would say, I'm about cheating too. Like people are like, oh, you're paleo, you're eating. I'm like, I'll eat a loaf of bread every now and then. I'm going to enjoy my life. I don't do it all the time.
Oh, loaf?
Well, you know what I mean? Like if I'm in Paris, give me a croque monsieur. I'll eat that thing. Like, yeah, absolutely. So live your life, enjoy it, but it's about moderation, especially with those offensive foods. And I would say that cheats are fine as long as they are legit every once in a while. And also I wouldn't maybe do them for the first month. Get your cravings down and in order. Start to switch over from being a carbohydrate dependent sugar burner to a fat burner, which is what we say in the industry. And then from there, gauge it. You might not even want to do a cheat day, but I'm down with you, Rob. Like it was during not too long ago. I was like, I feel like a huge prosciutto sandwich from an Italian deli. Yeah. I'm going to do it because I rarely do that. I enjoyed it. I didn't regret it. It was fine. And the next day I wasn't like, I got to have another sandwich. But if I did, I would go, hey, that was your wait 2 weeks and see if you want another sandwich. You know what I mean? We have enough discipline to do that. So,
well, yeah, like for us, because we're Chicagoans. Where are you from, Rob?
I'm from Pittsburgh, but not far from Chicago. Not far.
Okay.
We always were really jealous of the Chicago folks, and I was a big Bulls fan, so everything cool seemed like in Chicago, and I was just growing up in Pittsburgh. But yeah.
Because I was gonna say, like for us, Elle, we're Chicagoans, so pizza's a big deal. So for me, it's pizza and ice cream. Those are my addictions. So I'm trying, just recently, I started making the cauliflower crust, which if you make it right, it could be good. It's not the same, but it could be good. It's a good substitution.
Yeah, and there's a great company called Against the Grain, and they make rolls that are in the frozen section, and they make pizza crust and pizzas. And I tell you what, you really can't tell the difference if you put the right toppings on that stuff. Some of the cauliflower pizzas, but some of the grain-free ones are better. And also, too, again, it's just you're limiting the amount of gluten, you're limiting the amount of like glycemic spike and all of that stuff. So I always choose, if I can, sometimes a little bit more expensive, to go for the grain-free or definitely the gluten-free, but definitely a grain-free option. And it's out there now. So you can substitute that kind of thing that you want the consistency for. You want that crunchy thing, you can have it. It still might be high in calories and not be part of your initial program, but it's nice to know that these things are available. There's grain-free pasta. That's incredible. And this stuff's out there now. So
love this.
Cool.
So I have a question for you. I know, it's a bit of a pivot, but you're an expert in the confidence space too. And the one thing I've discovered over and over again, especially these days, is like people are really struggling with confidence, right? And it's a lot of that is fear, but maybe they've lost their job or they're trying to start a new business or they're just trying to get through the week or through the day. Like, talk to us a little bit about the confidence piece. Like, how can people maintain their confidence in this time of uncertainty, instability, and seeming insecurity?
Right. Well, first I'd say that, confidence is not some inherent anchored quality within you. It's the sum of the thoughts you think and the actions you take. And because we all have the choice to change those two things, our thoughts and our actions, everybody has confidence at their disposal. But for this audience, and talking about like Jesus and whatever, I would say true faith is having a sense of confidence connected to you because you're accepted by God, right? Your future is secure because God is watching over you. That's what most people believe. Now, everybody from every religions are going to have missed different interpretations. Of course, within every religion, there's a disagreement. But what I would say is that Jesus was confident and humble. It's not a contradiction. And we have to separate that because people think being humble is like, well, let me stay in the background. I shouldn't really, how are you going to get a job when they ask you what your qualities are? You're going to have to tell them. So we have to clear up this contradiction because God has no issue with good self-worth, right? Some people have a false sense of Christianity based on misbeliefs about the character of Jesus. But the truth is that like, this cat was anything but boring and safe, right? He was courageous. He was confident. He was bold. He was authentic. He lived a life of huge significance. And so it's not about, so God wants you to be confident. And so if you're not, in a way, I feel like it's a little bit like poo-pooing your, it's kind of like giving the bird to your guy. And it's like, so there, use your faith to gain this confidence. And I would say, stay away from feeling like false humility or this word humility. Yes, no one should be a braggart and overconfident. I'm not going to sit there and tell you guys, hey, let's go bungee jumping. I know what's up. I don't know anything about bungee jumping. We're all going to die. That's lying, right? That's pontificating confidence. That's a con man. I'm not talking about that. So we're talking about true self-worth and love, and that you can get from your faith. And so I think right now, a lot of people are probably going through the motions, right? They're going to church, or they're doing church on the line, and maybe they're just not really getting into it. And I would say, get in there. Get in there and let your faith help you. And it's really your birthright. You're not going to get anything in life that you want without it. You have to speak up. And so this is a tough time if you're looking for a job and whatever, but faith in yourself or the ability to prevail is all you need. You don't need to know how. So.
Yes, and knowing yourself. But I will say, I've never heard anyone call Jesus a cat.
I was cool, man. I know about the guy. He was cool, from what I know.
You know, the Bible does say, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind," and I think that's really important for people to understand. It's like we talk about mindset, you know, we talk about like changing your thoughts, and it's a biblical thing. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And the other thing is, you know, this is something that I talked about on another show, but it's this that I got as I was waking up one day thinking about, you know, what are we going to talk about on the show? That it's difficult to be yourself if you don't know yourself. Right? So there's so many people that don't even know who they are.
So Rob, give us.
Don't get me wound up, man. I might not stop. I love this conversation so much, and this is why I love you two incredibly brilliant, beautiful women so much, because I completely agree. Like, I used to really struggle with the like humility thing and the confidence thing. That I couldn't make sense of, you know, either one really, and particularly not, you know, in concert together. And then just like you said, Elle, just like you sort of and fleshed out there, Sally, like for me, confidence, you know, in quietness and confidence, right? That's scriptural. And also, like, I think of confidence as, and it's such a cliche, but cliches become cliches for a reason, like Godfidence, right? But in my oneness, in my recognition of my oneness with God, that's confidence. And my confidence is, though it seems like it's about me, it's really about that which I'm at one with. And when I'm not aware of that oneness, in that perceived separation or that erroneous separation or sense of separation, then that's insecurity. I feel insecure based on insecure things in the world that are always changing and evolving and are never stable, never secure, and never predictable. And so I think the greatest form of confidence is unconditional confidence that is based in and founded on something that is completely unconditional. It's immovable, unshakable, and essentially invincible. And all I know that could possibly ever be is God. Right. So, yeah.
And, you know, confidence really, when I say it, is generally the faith that you'll prevail. Just having that ability to think like, I'm going to prevail either at my ability in something specific or life in general. And what is that? That's just faith. That's faith in the unknown. This is, you know, the whole topic. And I think like genuine self-pride is the loving recognition of your own integrity and value, you know? True humility is based upon this affectionate regard for yourself, plus the recognition that you live in a universe where all these people are undeniable individually and self-worth. I mean, this is really great. But I think, too, as well, what we need to stay away from when we're trying to build confidence are the negative downers. Let's get rid of some conversations with people. People are going to come in at every turn and try to inflict a lack of confidence onto something that you did not even express yourself, right? Oh, I'm going to start this new business, Rob. And then you're like, I don't know, 50% of new businesses fail. Oh, downers. Let's limit conversation with downers. Don't keep telling your sister Mary about your exciting projects when she's always negative about it.
Yes.
Get a good friend, get a coach, get an online group. I think it's better as we're rising to, again, it's same with the health thing. Don't preach. Just don't, like, keep it here. It's so exciting. And Rob knows this because once you realize you're a part of, you're just co-creator, you want to share it with everyone to be like, oh, I see what you're doing. And, you know, it doesn't land well sometimes. So live by example and let people come to you. Yeah.
That's so good. You do that really well. My whole life, as long as I've known you, you exemplify that in such a beautiful, powerful way.
Thank you so much. So do you.
Yeah, you do that, right?
You know, I will say this, Elle, I want to go back to you talking about the power of words, right? And Just the other day.
Because my book, for everyone that knows, I'm talking about Jesus, and one of the titles of my book is Confident as Fuck. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm talking about some really spiritual stuff in there. That's another thing too, right? But anyway, on words, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So no, like, okay. So for the other, so a lot of you guys know I'm also a filmmaker besides being a host of this show. And so I was getting ready to shoot this big production. I was getting paid a bunch of money. This was like 3 weeks ago. I felt confident. I was like, let's go. I'm going to direct this big production. I have all the people waiting, like cameras are on, lights are on. And I felt good until someone said, are you nervous at all? Are you freaked out? And I was like, well, I wasn't until you just said that, because the word, to me, words are just a word until you put some kind of energy into the word.
There you go.
Right. And as soon as they said that to me, I started to get a little nervous. And I was like, I was perfectly fine until you just said that to me.
Rob, I would love to hear your opinion on this, because I know that like sometimes with me, I'll say something to a fellow spiritual friend and I might be joking and they'll be like, don't say that. Don't say that. I'm like, God, universe knows my intention on that thing. It's not,
right.
Right. It's the intention behind it that makes it something bad, good, negative. So I'd love you to it's us on that, because
it's so true. It's like, and you guys both spoke to it so beautifully, which is like, the map is not the territory. The finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. But what we do is we point the moon, and then people, they miss the moon altogether, and they take the finger and they gouge out in the eyes with the finger. And the whole idea is essentially that, like, it's not about what's written on the container. It's what's in the container and drinking what's in the container. That's how you satiate your thirst. And that's how, you're supposed to really want to live your life. And so it's such a great point. It's easy to get lost in semantics and get lost in words and even get lost in thoughts. But the question is, what's deep inside your heart, right? What do you really feel? And I love that example that you shared, Sally. Lots of science has found if you're nervous, for instance, one of the best things you can do is begin to think about it or reframe it in terms of excitement. So if you notice lots of little kids don't get nervous. We've all interviewed little kids that are very successful, maybe just or whatever, and you ask them, hey, do you get nervous ever? And most of them say, not really. What do you mean nervous? I get excited. I'm like, from the mouth.
Babe.
I'm so glad you said that, because even someone who wrote a book on confidence, when I'm speaking publicly in front of a large crowd, there's always a moment backstage where you're like, uh-oh, what? Who am I? Why am I? Uh-oh. Like, there's a moment. That moment takes self-talk, and usually I turn it into excitement. I'll be like, hey, man, you wanted this. You asked for this life. You wanted to be invited here. What are you doing? You're going to go out there. You go. I turn it into reminding myself that I got into this. This is the end result of what I wanted, and here I am. So I rephrase it. But listen, if I didn't in that moment self-talk, maybe my nerves would have gotten the best of me, or my excitement, or because again, your heart rate's up, right? I did a live event the other day, and hey, it just happens, right? You see the pulse, because something it's generating, and you can turn it one way or the other. And sometimes in a moment I have to go, hey, nope, no. You're not doing that. You go out there, you're going to kill it. You love this, blah, blah, blah. You got to self-talk.
That's
right. Well, you know what? Oh my gosh. First of all, we are out of time, which I can't believe it, because I'm having such a fun time. I want to just keep going. But I love what you guys said. So just to wrap it up in a bow. Each of you guys give me one little, give the audience just one little tip about how we can kind of get back into the groove of getting our health back. If you can give us a quick one.
Elle.
See, well,
like top three things.
Like start with that. Start with what you're putting in your mouth and start to look at it. You don't need to enter macros into a calculator. Just start to look at it. Think of something you might be able to take away or add, or just add something. And then a couple of weeks later, like Rob said, like eliminate that thing, add something good. Start there. And again, with mindset, I would do a lot of mindset work, because when I didn't like the body I was in and I was hating it as well and just felt awful, you have to just come to terms with yourself. It's like when I used to be a cigarette smoker, I had a day where I was like, I'm killing myself. And there's a lot of people out there killing themselves with food. We have a type 2 diabetes epidemic in this country that the only thing that really turns it around is diet. We know that for sure with type 2. Right. So stop killing yourself, right? Now,
I love it.
Yeah. There you go. Sorry.
Thank you for that, Elle. And Rob, thank you for co-hosting with me. You are amazing. And of course, I'm going to come calling when Tim's out of town again.
Please. These are big shoes to fill. Please know how big these shoes are to fill. I'm so grateful, seriously, for y'all. Thank you so much. And Sally, thank you so much. I love you deeply and truly.
I love you. Yes. And thanks to my dog, Max, who's sitting, I don't know if you guys can see him.
Special guest host.
So if you guys are looking, for a life coach, you can always reach out to me. My information is below. Rob, you're at coachrobmack.com, right?
That's right.
coachrobmack.com. And then Elle, how can they find you?
You can go to elleruss.com, ELLERUSS. And if you do, one of my first books is on thyroid. I have a free thyroid guide on that website that's really good. So you don't even need to buy my book. But if you're struggling with that issue, I just wanted to let people know that's there. But everything about me is on elleruss.com. Yeah, reach out.
Awesome. Thank you guys again. We're here every Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys all for joining us. We'll see you next time on Celebrate Transformation. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna change